What if the reason you're not winning yet is because you're talking too much about it? What if your biggest power is not what you show, but what you hide? And what if silence is actually your greatest strategy? In a world where everyone wants to post, prove, and announce every move, there is a different kind of person. The one who stays quiet. The one who doesn't need validation. The one who is not interested in attention, but in transformation. While others are busy showing their plans, this person is busy building them. Slowly, silently, powerfully. And when the results finally appear, they don't need to say a word. Because success speaks louder than noise ever could. Silence is not weakness, it is discipline. When you keep your goals to yourself, you remove the noise that comes from other people's opinions, expectations, and hidden insecurities. Most people don't realize that every time they share their plans, they invite judgment. Some of it subtle, some of it direct, but all of it powerful enough to influence their mindset. Doubt spreads quietly. A small negative comment can sit in your mind longer than 100 positive ones. But when you move in silence, you create a protected mental space where your ideas can develop freely. There is no need to explain, defend, or justify your vision. You are not performing for anyone, you are building for yourself. And in that space, your focus becomes sharper, your decisions become clearer, and your energy stays fully aligned with your purpose instead of being scattered trying to convince others. Silence also builds strength from within. When no one knows your next move, there is no external pressure to prove anything, no timeline forced on you, no validation required to keep going. You learn to trust your own process. You start working for results, not recognition. This is where real growth happens, away from the spotlight, away from applause, in moments where nobody is watching, but you still show up. Your vision matures quietly, gaining depth, clarity, and power without interruption. And when the time finally comes to reveal your progress, it doesn't need explanation because the results speak louder than any words ever could. What once protected in silence becomes undeniable in reality, and that is what makes your success feel strong, grounded, and truly yours. Private work is where discipline stops being a performance and becomes part of your identity. When no one is watching, there is no applause to chase, no validation to depend on, only your own standards staring back at you. That's where the real test begins. Waking up early without anyone noticing, staying consistent without being acknowledged, pushing through when there is no external reward, these are the moments that shape a person from the inside. You are no longer doing it for motivation because motivation fades. You are doing it because you decided you would, and that decision becomes your foundation. Over time, this builds a quiet confidence, a kind of self-respect that cannot be shaken because it was earned in silence, not given by others. And this is what makes private discipline so powerful. It removes all excuses. When your progress is not tied to attention, you become unstoppable. You don't slow down because no one is clapping, and you don't get distracted trying to impress people. Your focus stays locked on growth. This kind of discipline is dangerous in the best way because it creates consistency that doesn't depend on mood, environment, or recognition. It becomes automatic, almost unbreakable. Even on your worst days, you show up. Even when it's hard, you continue. And that's the difference between people who start strong and fade away and those who quietly build something that lasts. Not everything needs an audience, and not every moment gains value by being shared. In a world where constant posting feels normal, it's easy to confuse visibility with progress. But real growth often happens in quiet, unrecorded moments, the early mornings, the late nights, the small improvements that no one sees. When you hold certain parts of your journey close, you protect their meaning. You allow yourself to experience them fully without the pressure of capturing, explaining, or proving anything to anyone. This creates a deeper connection with your own path, where your focus shifts from, how does this look, to, how does this build me? And that difference is powerful. When you stop sharing everything, your energy stops leaking in unnecessary directions. You're no longer seeking reactions, approval, or validation. You're investing all of that energy back into your own growth. You become more present, more intentional, and more disciplined. Your actions start coming from purpose, not performance. And in that space, improvement becomes natural and consistent. The journey feels more real, more grounded, and more yours. Because when you remove the need to be seen, you finally give yourself the freedom to truly become.
Talking too much about your plans tricks your mind into celebrating too early. Every time you explain your goals, your brain releases a small sense of reward, as if progress has already been made. It feels good in the moment. You feel productive, driven, even accomplished, but in reality, nothing has been built yet. This creates a dangerous illusion where words replace action. Instead of putting in the hard, uncomfortable work, you keep repeating the idea, feeding off that temporary satisfaction. Over time, this weakens your drive because your mind has already tasted the reward without earning it. And slowly, without realizing it, you start becoming someone who talks a lot but executes very little. Silence breaks that cycle completely. When you stop announcing your moves, there is no early reward, no fake sense of progress, only the truth of what you've actually done. It keeps you grounded and slightly uncomfortable, and that discomfort is what pushes you forward. You stay hungry because nothing has been validated yet. You stay focused because there are no distractions from outside opinions or reactions. Your only source of satisfaction becomes real results, real effort, real progress. And that shift changes everything. Because once you train yourself to value execution over expression, you stop chasing the feeling of productivity and start building proof of it. Private growth removes friction from your journey. When you're not constantly explaining your plans, updating others, or justifying your decisions, you free up mental space that most people don't even realize they're losing. Your energy stays focused on execution instead of communication. You make decisions faster because you're not waiting for approval. You think clearer because your mind isn't crowded with outside opinions. And that clarity turns into momentum. While others are busy talking, posting, and seeking feedback, you are quietly moving forward, stacking progress day by day. This creates a gap, a powerful advantage that only comes from staying focused on the work instead of the noise around it. Private growth also gives you the freedom to fail without fear. When no one is watching, mistakes don't feel like embarrassment, they feel like part of the process. You experiment more, take smarter risks, and adapt quickly because there's no pressure to look perfect. This is where real improvement happens, through trial, error, and honest self-reflection. You are not protecting an image, you are building a skill. And over time, that mindset compounds into something strong and undeniable. By the time people notice your progress, you've already gone through the messy, uncomfortable stages in private. What they see is the result, but what built it was your quiet, consistent growth behind the scenes.
There is a quiet advantage in being underestimated that most people overlook. When expectations are low, pressure disappears. No one is watching closely, no one is analyzing your every move, and no one is waiting for you to fail. That gives you space, real space, to grow at your own pace, to make mistakes, to learn without judgment. While others are busy trying to maintain an image or live up to expectations, you are free to focus purely on improvement. You don't need to prove your worth in conversations or arguments. You let your actions do that over time. And because no one expects much, every bit of progress you make carries more impact. It turns into surprise, then respect, and eventually something people can't ignore. But the real power isn't in shocking others, it's in staying focused on yourself. When you stop trying to prove people wrong, you start building something right. You move with intention, not ego. You work without needing validation, and that creates a different level of discipline. Quiet people with strong actions become dangerous in the best way because they are unpredictable. There are no announcements, no warnings, just results. And by the time people finally notice, it's already too late to doubt you. You've already built the strength, the skill, and the mindset they never saw coming. Noise is constant, and it pulls your attention in every direction without you even noticing. Opinions start shaping your thinking, comparisons start affecting your confidence, and distractions slowly drain your energy. But the moment you choose silence, everything changes. You cut off the unnecessary input and create space for focus. And focus is powerful because it allows you to go deeper, not just faster. While others are reacting to every trend, every comment, every distraction, you stay locked in on what actually matters. Your time is not divided, your energy is not scattered, and your mind is not overloaded. That kind of clarity is rare, and it becomes your biggest advantage in a world full of noise. At first, the difference may not be visible. It might even feel like you're moving slower because you're not constantly showing or talking about your progress. But over time, that quiet focus compounds. Small, consistent actions begin to stack up. Skills sharpen, discipline strengthens, and results start to form without announcement. Meanwhile, those lost in noise keep restarting, keep getting distracted, keep losing momentum. And that's where the gap is created, not in one big moment, but in daily choices. While they are scattered, you are steady. While they are loud, you are focused. And eventually that focus turns into results so strong that they speak for themselves. Words are easy. They cost nothing, require no proof, and can be repeated endlessly without ever creating real change. Anyone can say they are working hard or dreaming big, but those statements lose meaning when they are not backed by action. This is why silence combined with execution is so powerful. When you stop announcing your efforts and start focusing on results, you remove the gap between what you say and what you do. You are no longer trying to sound impressive. You are becoming impressive through consistent action. And over time, that consistency builds something real, something visible, something that cannot be faked or debated. When your results start speaking for you, everything shifts. You don't need to explain your journey because the outcome already tells the story. You don't need to convince anyone of your potential because you've already proven it through what you've built. There is a different kind of respect that comes from this, quiet, undeniable, and lasting. People may ignore your words, but they cannot ignore your results. And that is the ultimate power of working in silence. You let others talk, you let others doubt, but in the end, your actions create a voice that is louder, stronger, and impossible to overlook. Privacy shifts your confidence from something external to something deeply internal. When you stop sharing every move and seeking reactions, you naturally begin to rely on your own judgment. Decisions are no longer influenced by what people might say or think. They are guided by your vision and your standards. At first, it can feel uncomfortable because you're used to feedback and validation. But over time, that silence strengthens your trust in yourself. You start listening to your own instincts more, making choices with clarity instead of hesitation. And that builds a foundation of confidence that doesn't shake easily, because it wasn't built on approval, it was built on self-belief. This kind of confidence is quiet, but powerful. It doesn't need to be announced or proven in front of others. It shows in how you carry yourself, how you stay calm under pressure, and how you remain focused even when no one is watching. You don't chase attention because you don't need it to feel secure. You know your worth, not because someone told you, but because you've seen your own discipline, your own growth, and your own consistency. And that's what makes it unbreakable. It's not loud, it's not flashy, but it's real, steady, and impossible to take away. Winning quietly carries a depth that public victories can never match. When you achieve something without broadcasting every step, the success belongs entirely to you. There's no need for external recognition to validate your effort because you already know its value. Every challenge you overcame, every late night, every moment of doubt faced alone, all of it compounds into a victory that resonates on a personal level. The satisfaction isn't shallow or performative. It's real, grounded, and deeply fulfilling. It's a victory that can't be diluted by opinions, comparisons, or noise. It belongs solely to you, and that makes it priceless. Quiet wins also teach a unique kind of strength. When no one is watching, there's no applause to chase, no praise to feed your ego. You learn to push yourself for reasons beyond recognition, because the work itself matters and because you're committed to your own growth. That struggle, unseen by others, shapes resilience, patience, and discipline. And when the results finally show, the impact is undeniable. Others may notice late, but by then it's too late to compete. They are seeing only the finished product, while you've already grown through the entire journey. Winning quietly makes success not just an achievement, but a testament to your persistence, focus, and inner strength. Are you building your future, or just talking about it? Move in silence, so when you rise, the only thing people hear is your success. If you think I provide you valuable content, then please like this video, follow, subscribe, and comment your thoughts in the comment section.